Perfect. We are live now, Christlie. Hi, everyone. Welcome back. This is season 2 of the Government Coins podcast. So excited to be back with you all. My name is ShaKeia. I am the founder of GovLia. We are a software company that focuses on software development and outreach to communities, really focusing on bridging the gap between communities, connecting people, processes, and technology. And this is my lovely co-host here.
Hey everyone, so my name is Christlie. I am also one of the hosts. I am the principal consultant for Christlie G Consulting. We're a human resource, human capital management firm, serving government agencies and corporations on all things human capital. And then I am the owner of the Black Bunker, which is a comprehensive government contracting tools, society, I guess, social link. But it's a mentorship program that I designed to help small Black-owned businesses really understand the strategies behind doing business with the government.
Christlie, this has been a rocky road, I would say. We had the idea when we started in season 1 to like travel around and do all these interviews, and COVID-19 never went away like we thought it was. So most of our interviews have been virtual, but it's been good because it's allowed us to connect with people who are usually, pretty busy and harder to get in contact with. So this season, we will be doing a lot more interviews with government agencies. Last year, we had a lot of busy professionals, so we were happy to get that out early because we really wanted to show people, there's opportunity in this space. So now this season, we will be interviewing business owners as well, but a lot of our interviews have been from, or that are scheduled, are from government agencies. So how are you feeling about that, Christlie?
I think the biggest thing, and I've said this season 1, and I think we're just proving it in season 2. And I will say this, kudos to, the entire team that is behind Government Coins. Hannah, I think Hannah, shout out to you out there. No, I think it's huge that we're making this transition essentially where you're kind of seeing, we gave you hope, businesses that look like you, businesses that are successful, right? But now the whole time we've been telling you the goal is to bring the government to you. And now we have confirmed scheduled guests that are within the government. And we kicked off the podcast kind of like that with Department of Transportation and Port Authority of New York, New Jersey. But now we're really bringing the heat this season. And I think it's because I'm one thing about podcasts is credibility, right?
Yes.
It's not us just getting up here and chit-chatting and this is what we do this. We're literally deciding, hey, our podcast has been somewhat vetted, approved, and the government, federal, city, and state agencies are saying, hey, we are willing to put our government agency on the line on this podcast. And I can say this confidently, I have not seen another podcast do that.
Ooh.
I have not
will say
podcast bring the government on, but that's up to you.
I will say these conversations, and the conversations have gotten a lot easier too, because it's, people are beginning to realize that podcasts are, again, one of the fastest growing mediums, one of the quickest ways to get information out. And it's easy to, obtain as opposed to, reading a blog post, because we're constantly going, we're constantly moving. So that has been one of the things that the agencies have also been able to see through, the podcasting and the engagement as well, realizing that, or seeing, how businesses are engaging with the content and information that we're putting out, and how many businesses have actually taken those interviews and said, okay, I learned this here and I'm going to go and implement it. And I think that's the other side of it. So it's been very impactful. I'm grateful for it, for sure.
But I will say this one thing that I would like to know your thoughts on. I'm a little concerned, and this is for the audience, right? I think we brought some great people and some great speakers in the past. But what is your thoughts, or what are your thoughts about like audience interaction and, you know, especially when we had agencies on,
Second.
especially when we had like government agencies on?
That's a good one. And I like we talked about this on the last few episodes too. You know, we would get people on and they would be there and they would be listening. But the thing is, y'all, get in here, ask these questions. Whatever you need to know, if you want to know how to get in contact with this person, if you want to know what programs they have available, if you want to know what contracts they have coming out, like any questions that you may have for this audience or for this interview, please make sure you are interacting, engaging, and don't, there are no shameless plugs around here. Hi, my name is X, Y, and Z. My cleaning company, janitorial services are from around the way, provides these services in X, Y, and Z. So make sure, you are on board and you are, getting that information out, but also asking the questions, because you never know who'll see this podcast later on and say, oh, there's a comment here with a company who does janitorial services. How can I partner with them? So.
Yes. I think that's some of the things that as we go into season 2, I feel like we really need to be intentional. And that's for everybody in the audience. We're bringing the government to you so you can ask them the questions. Like, I will tell you that some of our counterparts that don't necessarily look like us, they would not have this podcast if it got to them, which, if they were watching it, they would be seizing every second to have those conversations. And this is an open forum. You have the opportunity to ask a question. And of course, without further ado, shake the table. Shake the table. None other than, the pastor himself. Our third co-host.
Yes.
Sabree, introduce yourself, Hamza.
How you doing, everybody? My name is pronounced Hamza Sabree. I'm the founder and CEO of Global Connects, which is a government contracting consulting firm. We help and assist small businesses into crossing the bridge over into the government contracting world industry, from services, products, goods. And I'm so grateful to be on this call with my fellow teammates, Christlie and ShaKeia.
Hamza, listen, we were sitting up here and we were like, every episode, when we go back and we look at all of the different episodes, we kept seeing comments when people were dropping saying, dang, now it was literally in the top of my head.
I saw the blue diamond. The blue diamond.
The blue diamonds.
That's what I knew. I was like, okay, he's branded out now. Like, they on here.
I said, all right, y'all. We hear you. Like, we hear you. So that was literally a no-brainer, to actually reach out and talk about being on the podcast. Especially after, that first interview, we already had them vibes, we were connected. So we're like, all right, cool. So I'm super excited, that we have a full team now.
Yep.
And we were saying how in the beginning, we wanted to go travel around and do different podcasting videos and stuff like that. But COVID never ended. So we were like, this season, mask up. Mask up. We coming. So I wanted to wait until Hamza got on to talk about that a little bit, because he was like, let's go, y'all. So
yeah, agreed.
Let's do it.
How you feeling about being the new co-host? What do you think you're going to add or most excited about on this season?
I feel very excited about being a part of the Government Coins podcast. I actually wanted to be the host on there. I just did never say anything. So when ShaKeia reached out, I was like, let's go. Let's do it. More of like me manifesting it, But I'm excited. the small business world, entrepreneurship, and this untapped sector that hasn't been exposed on a full spectrum, it feels like we have the torch to, and we have the duty to share this valuable information that can change businesses' lives, that can scale their business up, and possibly just start their business based around doing business with the government.
Yeah.
What I plan on, bringing to the episodes and bringing to the podcast is pulling the teeth out of all the information that's needed for small businesses to thrive. Yeah. Let's get down to the nitty gritty. What are the do's? What are the don'ts? What are the rules? What are the policies? All right, what is going to help small businesses excel into this industry? Like, I'm really going to be, pulling the questions and wanting to get that information from the people that we bring onto the podcast, not just from for other small businesses, but even for me, the intel that I can get for my business to grow. So it's not just asking questions to an interviewer, but it's more just asking questions that's going to, really give some solid information and solid content for everyone that's going to be listening in.
Yeah, that's dope. That's dope, because I think, I signed, one of the things that helped me sign the Miami MBDA contract was I used the link from one of our episodes and I sent them and I said, to be clear, when we're training, we're not telling you this is where you go to register. And, this is the basics of, you gotta be on the portal. Like, you gotta be, like, we're teaching strategy and maintaining a cohesive relationship. So what a lot of people don't understand is, for me, I am on these PTAC calls, SBA calls. I'm going to these things, not because I'm actually trying to learn, but I'm actually trying to look at what their format is and what you're not getting. And then we're on this platform like, all right, let's close the gap. Okay, this is how we close the gap. This is what they're not telling you. I think that's what makes us different, other than the fact, again, we're bringing the government to you. So right. It's dope.
No more going out trying to find the government agencies. We bring them right to your computer screen, your cell phone, your TV. It's right there, easily accessible. So there's no excuse now.
At all. I will say one thing that also stood out when we were like reaching out to agencies as well is I was on a call with someone from DCMA, and I was telling them about the podcast to get them to come on, because that's one of the conversations we don't have. We don't talk about audits after you get a contract. So we'll have him to come on and talk about that side of it. But I told him, I'm like, don't come in here like, not like don't come here, but we have a conversational style model, right, in terms of how we talk. Because I've been to events, I've been to different meetings and trainings where the information this is how it was going right over my head. And I was like, what are y'all talking about? Like, so that's why we try to also, that's one thing that I love, and every training platform that we all have, we meet people where they are. And we come, the way that we are, because this is who I am. I don't know, like if I can change it up or make it sound different, but this is who I am, and this is how I receive information, and this is how I, appreciate information being displayed to me as well. Something that's relatable, something that I, don't have to write down and go Google 30 times later. Like, so that's another thing that they were very interested in and excited about, like really just having a conversation. Because all of the webinars,
them joints,
I'm webinared out.
The WebExes are excellent. The web. So I think people really don't understand how seriously advantageous this is, because back in the day, we still have industry day, but this is kind of like industry day on a podcast, and you have live action to ask the government questions in the comments. You can ask the government like direct, like, how can I connect with you? And they're giving out their email address. Last time we had Port Authority, they were blatant, like, email us. And sadly, Port Authority was like, they ain't email me. So what y'all want us to do? You're asking for the contracts. You're not winning the RFPs, probably because you haven't leveraged subcontracting and partnering. And now we're literally handing you the agencies on a silver platter and you still don't email them. Y'all, come on. We got to switch it up. Or else me, Hamza, and ShaKeia, we just gonna take all the contracts and that's fine with me too. We take it all.
We can't get all the work. We can't get all of it, but I will try my best too. You allow me.
I'm dead serious.
Millions of dollars that out here getting spent, and it's enough for everyone to get their fair share of opportunity with doing business with the government. Whether you're a new business or you already are in business, but you're just generating money from the private sector, come on over and get some of this public sector money too.
Yeah. So my question, I actually have a question. So, because most people have asked this, how do we get into or know about government contracting? ShaKeia, you want to go first?
Of course. So how I got into it was actually on the flip side of things. I purchased supplies while I was in the Navy, and that's how I was very, involved into the supply process, buying different things. And at the time, I always tell this story too, because at the time I was so annoyed with my one of my officers, because he would always ask me to order stuff that wasn't on the boat, and that required me to do a lot more work. Long story short, I took that experience and got a job working at a company selling products and services to the government, and had to learn the opposite side of it. And that's how I got into this space. And from there, I branched out. I would go to events and people would always ask, how did you get into this? And I ended up taking that and deciding, okay, let me use this information that I have to not only go after my own contracting opportunities, but to create a platform and then educate the community. So that's how I got ahead.
What about you?
I got into government contracting through, I worked with a construction company. It was a minority-owned construction company that did 100% of their business with the government. And I had to learn through the most interesting way was reading laws. Laws were federal acquisition regulations. Those are all the laws and clauses mandated with government contracting. 2,038 pages stacked on my desk. And I had to pretty much familiarize myself with these laws on the federal side for the business to be able to consistently get business with the government. So it's different when you have a company or you're working with a company and they're doing business in this industry, but it's different. It's levels of it when they say, well, we only got one source of a customer and this comes strictly from the government and this is how they do business and this is the protocol. So I understood the importance of paperwork and procurement, how important it was in government contracting. It was not more of getting the government contract or winning the contract. It's more of understanding the paperwork, the process, and realizing that the government agencies are viewing your business based off what you submit in. Based off the documentation and the proposals and quotes that you submit in. So I understood the importance of how to create value in submission. When you're submitting in these proposals, what's going to make you stand out than other companies? Just as small stuff as signing off with blue ink, just as submitting in capability statement with every proposal, every quote to give them more intel of the business. It's like marketing never stops. And once you stay in their face and let government agency know who you are, it's inevitable to get business. Like it's going to come.
Yeah, I agree. So I got into it where I didn't actually know that I was in it. So I was subcontracting for New York. Well, I was subcontracting under a prime who had a contract with New York City Department of Education, and that was my one of the preliminary clients under Christlie Consulting. back in 2019. Did that for a few months, staffing, really everything in HR. And then as I was doing that, an interview popped up, from another podcast, and ShaKeia was the guest of said podcast. And I was like, is that what that is? I do that now. And so I actually put the actual title to what I was already doing. And I was like, I've been government contracting. This is not easy peasy, but I'm like, this is pretty much like the everyday, right? And so at the time I was working full time and doing my business really on the sideline. And I think when I watched ShaKeia on, that last podcast, I was like, oh, now I could put like a whole, like everything I've learned and what I've been doing, thinking like a ditz, that I'm like, oh, this is fine. I do this now. I didn't think it was a big deal. Now I can give it to the people. And I think that's big. We have band together to reach the people that look like us. And here in New York City, I'll be very honest with everyone. Fiscal year 2020, New York City awarded over $30 billion in government contracts. 30 billion. New York City is a large metro area that is competitive. Their funding can really compete with like 5 cities combined. So $30 billion in contracts, only 3.84% of that went to MWBEs. Less than 1% went to Black-owned businesses.
Wow.
In the midst of COVID. And so I think now with Mayor Eric Adams, there's going to be a shift. I've already seen Governor Kathy do some great steps towards changing that for here in New York City. So it's time, and the spaces are being created. But some of the common stuff that I'm hearing from agencies are the MWBEs are not responding to solicitations, or they're not responding to our calls. They're not coming to the meetings. I had a meeting last week, and the agency was like, we had a pre-proposal conference for MWBEs and nobody showed up. And I'm like, give me the list. I'll make sure they show up. Like, work with me. Tell them
that's another thing too. Okay, go.
No. I'm saying, like, tell them to come see us. We'll teach them, because the city is teaching how to do business with the government, but they're not teaching our people our way. They're teaching the way that it was written for them. So that's what we're trying to change. Like, these are students, and every student, no man left behind, right? So let's teach them how they can learn, not how you think they should learn.
There you go. Yes.
Go ahead, ShaKeia.
Oh, sorry, I almost interjected there. I'm working on that. But yeah, I was gonna say that's a good point, and thinking about it in the aspect of how is this information reaching them? You get what I'm saying in terms of the engagement. How did they, did you just send an email and expect everybody to see it? Or like, what is the engagement like? How often are you engaging with these people? It's just like social media, right? How often are you engaging with your audience? Like, we get it at the this is money. So you want to be engaged as a business owner. But at the end of the day, we all know, like, this isn't their primary source of income. This is probably a secondary stream of revenue for them. So they have a duty to their, existing customers, and, getting more of those, whether it's B2C or B2B customers, getting more of those customers as well. So, they have other things going on too. So I guess in that aspect, that's why I was thinking about the podcast too, because what more can we do on this level in terms of like engagement and outreach? So that's, the area that I focus on as well, but just trying to see what more can we do? Of course we're doing the education, of course we're doing the podcast, getting the agencies in front of the business owners and things like that. But also how as a business owner, how would you like to be engaged? That's a question.
Yeah. That's a good question.
Drop it in the comments, everybody. How do you want to be engaged? Tell us, and we'll figure it out. And we could rotate. You can have, the pastor down, on one day, and you can have the training person on another day. Like, we can rotate and work with everybody. So that's our goal. I feel like this season is going to be dope. I think people aren't ready to see like real government officials. And I think we're demystifying like that the government is like some far-fetched land that you can't like reach out to. Like they're here, they're human like us, and most of them look like us. So yeah.
True. And most of them are willing to assist small business into entering and helping them get government contracts. Like they're more than willing. Like you show up. Like my saying is, you show up. That's like 90% of just winning is just showing up. And when you show up to the occasion, when you show up to the opportunity, man, they come with all kind of resources, pulling in all kind of strings for you when you just show some type of effort.
Agreed. That's a fact. But y'all gotta show effort. So this is the part, guys. We've got to put our foot forward. We can't just say one capability statement and pray for the best.
And you want to move with some type of competency about yourself. Not just coming in saying, well, how do I do this, or how do I fill out this form? The last thing you want to do is reaching out to a government agency and you're asking them how to fill out an SF 1449 form, or you asking them how do I put my percentages, or how do I put my markup on pricing. Like that's the last thing you want to be asking your customers. How do I charge you? Like this is your business, so you have to have some type of level of competency within your own business, knowing your industry, not just trying to win the contract to win the contract. Oh, I want to sell paper products. Let me see if I can bid on this. No, know your industry, know your business setup first, because you don't want to lead your business in with certifications. You want to be leading your business actual niche, the actual service you offer, the actual products that you offer. You want to have some kind of common ground foundation of this is my company and this is what we do. Then they can do what they can on their end to be able to say, well, you do this type of service, or you offer these type of products. Well, here's a government agency, or here's an acquisition department, or let me get you in contact with this contracting officer or procurement officer, rather than saying, hey, I'm registered with SAM, I got my certifications, how can I get a contract? No one's going to entertain you like that with that type of language or that type of approach.
Yeah, 100%. Actually, yesterday at this networking event, they said the agency representative was like, when you email me, like, I need to know what you want. Like, be specific. She was like, if you have the name of the contract, put the name of the contract on there, because after you, there's like 130 people in line, and I just want to send you to the right person, rather than, she literally said, if I have to ask you what exactly your business does, or if I have to ask you where I can help you, whatever, then at that point, I'm already like, this is gonna be a problem. So a lot of times, you know, somebody DM'd me recently and was like, hey, I'm a baker, and I'm looking for a government contract. I didn't respond at first because I was like, really trying to get away from these DMs. But while I was on the networking event, they had the forecast up in New York City, and they were looking for like they were looking for baked goods, right? And so I DM'd the person, I was like, NYC ACS, right? ACS. And she DM'd me back and was like, what is that? I was like, girl, you're gonna have to Google. You're gonna have to go, you're gonna have to do legwork. You're gonna have to research, you're gonna have to watch a podcast, you're going to have to like really become a subject matter expert in your field. Nobody can tell me what it is to do labor compliance. Nobody can tell me what it is to do human capital strategic mapping or building a career lattice, because me and the 4 people on my team, everybody knows what the heck we do. And we're not about to sit here and entertain, you know, like construction. Like that's not my niche. Why would I be in construction? Like that doesn't have anything to do with me. I'm not gonna build her, right? So like, don't come into this space of government contracting thinking you're going for the bag and you just gonna grab whatever falls, where in reality, you know, what did Hamza say? Season 1, oh, he said, find your niche and get rich.
Hello.
That's exactly what I was saying.
You
gotta put that on a t-shirt or something.
We really do. We gotta put that on there. Like, It literally is fire niche and get rich because there's enough money in whatever it is you provide that, yo, you can focus on that. I know somebody that sells just toilet paper. They make a lot of money selling toilet paper. And they sell like 17 different types. Like there's like the, different like what is it, like to save the planet, like there's Green Planet toilet paper, but they don't sell sustainable, but they don't sell paper towels. They don't sell shoelaces. They don't sell that. They sell toilet paper. That's it. They're not even going beyond that. And they make millions selling toilet paper.
Selling toilet paper. Wow. Find your niche, then get rich. Find your calling, then you stop balling, Yo,
we really gotta get shirts and then like sign your name. You should sign it. Like when we go to different cities, child, I'm always trying to make up a child. I'm already.
I'm gonna go ahead and get Hannah to get started on that.
Merch coming out. The merch coming. Let's go.
Yo, get the merch. Sign it at the bottom, like as your signature should be like right underneath it. Yeah, then trademark it. Don't steal it, y'all, because I will sue you.
Yeah, we got that trademark.
I'm like, don't steal it, y'all. I got Sabree Franco on the main line for a lawsuit. Please. I had these.
But yeah, we really wanted to pop in. We have a lot more stuff that'll be coming up. In the comment section, someone says, hi, okay, here we go. Hello, I'm an outreach manager at Elevate Medical Staffing in South Carolina. You all have nice rapport. Is it possible to keep you all together? We ain't going nowhere.
We right here.
We here.
Nowhere.
We ain't going nowhere. And we got another one said the same exact thing. They excited to see us all together. So that's definitely, the sentiments are felt.
They're low key excited because they're like, oh, finally he joined.
Right. Right.
They low key, they was like, dang, it's about time they got somebody in there that's not just two Black women.
Girl. It was necessary. It was very necessary. And when I look at my Google Analytics, anytime I look at my Google Analytics, Hamza, I'm like, Hamza is under GovLia. GovLia belong to you, Hamza. That's all I can say.
No, baby, that's your baby. I'm just here, and I'm glad to be here to support.
Yeah, for sure.
Kind of way that I can. I've been rocking with you, ShaKeia, for about a few years now. I remember when we did our first class, and I was reaching out to you, and I was like, yo, we have to do something for small businesses. We have to, be the voice for this because it's such a secretive type of language. It's just a secretive type of industry. It's like, type of thing. And it's crazy. I picture myself as I want to be the person I didn't have when I was in government contracting. I didn't have someone to hold my hand, to walk me through, show me the ropes. I had to fall on my face. I had to lose money on government contracts. I had to get contracts almost terminated. I had to, pretty much put out a lot of fires from mistakes I was making by not getting a proper mentorship or not getting the proper information from my P-Tech advisor or from SBA. So a lot of stuff came from trial and error. And I was like, you know what? If I can give out information that I've learned and honed over the 7 years of in this space, it can prevent someone else going through these hiccups and overcoming these challenges or going through these challenges, and they can overcome and they can prevent themselves from losing money on government contracts or losing out on major opportunities of doing business with the government. So it's like, I'm just being the person that I wish I had in this space, and it's just making a great community and a great culture for small businesses to really get some real tangible information, lead with some, okay, what steps to do, a POA, what I call a plan of action, like leaving with something that I know that I can go ahead and implement and apply, and I can start creating results.
And that's it, a plan of action. That's our word, a POA, plan of action. I'm gonna make sure see if Hannah can do a post for that. POA, that's the plan of action. So that's what we're going with. And that was a wonderful segue or wrap up to this what we want to say is make sure you have subscribed to our podcast. We are on all podcasting mediums. You're on Apple Music, Spotify, all of those podcasting mediums. Make sure you go and subscribe to all of our YouTube channels as well. We'll be dropping Christlie and Hamza's YouTube channels in the chat. So make sure you subscribe to everyone's everyone's channels, because we will be posting stuff outside of government coin. So this will be our area where we interview different people, but we'll also be educating on our own YouTube channels. So you want to make sure you are subscribed, because you do not want to miss any of the content that will be coming out. Yes, somebody said action all 2022. That's it. Yes. Action. So we want to say that. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Any questions you may have, drop them in the comment sections below, and catch us here next Tuesday and every Tuesday after that at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Next Thursday.
Oh, I said Tuesday.
Yeah. I'm tired, y'all.
JK got.
But yeah.
But on Tuesdays.
All right.
Oh, wait.
What did you say?
Yeah. Hamza, you got to do your intro. We did our intros early when we came in. We just explained who we are, and look, we acting just like Black folks right now. I'm gonna let you go, but Hamza, you got to do your intro. You got to tell the people who you are, about your company, and what your company does.
Okay. My name is Hamza Sabree, CEO, founder of Global Connects. We're a world-class government contractor consulting firm. We focus on janitorial supplies, office supplies, electronics, janitorial cleaning service, COVID-19 sanitation, and so much more that we can provide to federal, state, local government agencies across this map. You know, it's a small steps towards the big goal every day. And you know, when you grow, we grow. That's the best way, and that's the motto.
And y'all heard that. I don't even gotta say nothing else. Like, that's a wrap. We done.
The wrap. Episode 1 and done.
All right, later.
Stay on.
Okay, I'm done. We are no longer live.